Hello, this is Sherman. Welcome to Asian Chef Framed by Mean Guy, Q&A Part 2. Do you think you can defeat me? Well, let's see if you can try. Okay, here are some of our characters. This is Jason. He's the manager at Around the World restaurant. Boo. Here is Mrs. Young, the Chinese restaurant owner. Yay. Here is Marcus, Jason's father. We'll see whether we like him.
But I must warn you, Miss Young. Marcus Reeves is gonna be here tomorrow. He's our main investor. Please don't catch his eye and spoil his appetite. Do you copy?
Of course.
Great. Then I'll expecting you here tomorrow. My lawyer's gonna finish the paperwork and come here at 7. 6. 5. Sounds good?
Okay, got it.
Okay, let's see if you can answer the questions. What warning does Jason give Mrs. Young? The main investor is coming. Please don't catch his eyes and spoil his appetite. Who is the main investor? Marcus Reeves is. Is Mrs. Young allowed to get Marcus's attention? No, absolutely not. Jason warned her not to catch his eye and spoil his appetite. Why is Jason worried that Mrs. Young will spoil the investor's appetite? Because he's a racist. He thinks she is as dirty and stinky as rats. What does Jason expect Mrs. Young to do? He expects her to be at the restaurant in the morning. What is Jason's lawyer going to do? He's going to finish the paperwork. Why does Jason's lawyer need to finish the paperwork? Because he's going to buy Mrs. Young's restaurant. Okay, here comes some more of the movie.
Look at this.
Nice.
This is the future of the restaurant business.
I like nice.
I told you that. I told you.
Jason, how many times have I told you? Huh? Don't call me father. Don't call me dad when we're working, okay? We're talking business, all right?
Right. Mr. Reeves, please take a seat. So, I've managed to set the deal that I was telling you about. You remember the restaurant business? I bought it. I bought the restaurant. So now we can place a karaoke in that room. Yeah? We still need some investments to buy all the electronics, but still, a karaoke room. Could you imagine
Jason,
that?
first of all, I came here to eat and not to sing, all right? Just bring me a steak and we'll talk about the karaoke later, all right?
The steak is on the way.
Great.
Okay, here we go. More questions. What does Marcus not want his son to do when they're talking business? He doesn't want Jason to call him dad while they're working. Did Marcus buy the restaurant from Mrs. Young? No, he didn't. His son Jason bought it from her. Why does Jason need some investments from his father? He needs him to buy all the electronics for the karaoke room. What does Jason need to buy for the karaoke room? the electronics. Did Marcus ask Jason to bring him a salad? No, he didn't. He asked Jason to bring him a steak. Okay, here we go. More of the movie.
Steak is out.
Sire, would you like to try this delicious steak? Absolutely. And where's the fork and knife? They'll sit in. Give me a second. Don't need that.
What's up, Jason? What's wrong?
Okay, so please stop. Do you remember the Miss Young I told you about? Yeah, I bought the restaurant from her. And now she works as a janitor here. I think she seeks the revenge. The revenge. She definitely seeks the revenge, Dad.
Revenge?
Okay, are we ready? Who intentionally switched the dishes in the kitchen? Mrs. Young did. She secretly exchanged the steak with her noodles. Why did Mrs. Young secretly switch the dishes? Because she wanted the investor to taste her amazing noodles. How did Jason react when he saw his father eating the noodles? He was extremely shocked and worried. Who works as a janitor at Jason's restaurant? Mrs. Young does. Why did Jason try to stop his father from eating the noodles? Because he thought Mrs. Young definitely sought the revenge. What makes Jason think that Mrs. Young seeks revenge on him? The bowl of noodles his father is eating. What did Jason repeatedly emphasize to his dad while looking at the noodles? He said, "I think she seeks revenge. She definitely seeks revenge, Dad." Okay, what will happen?
Yes, that's my dish, Mr. Reeves. Except it's not a revenge. I switched the dishes so you could appreciate what Mr. Jason Reeves is depriving my customers of. He called the Department of Health and planted cockroaches around my kitchen.
Cockroaches? Are you kidding me?
And then made me work for pennies. Even though I've been developing and promoting Asian cuisine for years.
Son, is this...
Wow. Can you answer these questions? What does Mrs. Young want Marcus to appreciate? Her noodles. She wants the investor to appreciate her cooking. Does Marcus really appreciate her noodles? Yes, he does. Marcus really loves it. What did Jason deprive Mrs. Young's customers of? He deprived her customers of delicious noodles. How did Jason deprive her customers of the noodles? He called the inspector and planted cockroaches around her kitchen. Did he secretly put drugs in her kitchen? No, he didn't. He planted cockroaches around her kitchen. Did Marcus make Mrs. Young work for pennies? No, he didn't. He forced her to work as a janitor in his restaurant. What has Mrs. Young been developing and promoting for years? She has been developing and promoting Asian cuisine for years. What has she been doing with Asian cuisine for years? She's been developing and promoting it for years. Okay, let's listen some more.
Is this true?
Of course it's not. Listen, that restaurant was a disaster. Dirty dishes, terrible workers. The place was a mess. People were actually sick from eating those noodles. That's why I told you to stop, Dad. I am telling you the truth, okay? Telling you the truth, Father.
Well, that's strange. Because these noodles, this is the most delicious meal I've had in such a long time. What did you put in the sauce? It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. This is the sauce of longanma beans. I hope it wasn't too spicy though.
Too spicy? Are you kidding me? It's amazing. It hit the spot.
What did Jason describe as a disaster? He called Mrs. Young's restaurant a disaster. How did Jason slander Mrs. Young's restaurant? He said that the restaurant was a disaster, dirty dishes, terrible workers. The place was a mess. People were actually sick from eating those noodles. Is Mrs. Young's restaurant really a mess? No, it isn't. The place is really very neat and clean. What does Marcus think about the noodle sauce? He loves it. He compliments it. It's fantastic. It hits the spot. What ingredients did Mrs. Young use to make the sauce? He used longanma beans to make it. Was the sauce too spicy for Marcus? No, it wasn't. It was amazing. It hit the spot. Okay, let's listen to the rest of the
I've had
story.
an amazing dish like this in forever. I can't even remember. I can't deprive you of serving this kind of amazing food to other people. I just can't do it. But you've already sold your restaurant.
She sold it to me.
There's not going to be any stupid around the world here, but instead, a restaurant of your unique Asian cuisine. Would you like to be the head chef?
Oh, of course. Oh my God, of course, Mr. Reeves. Thank you very much.
No,
I'd love to.
Okay, hold on a second.
What will Marcus not deprive Mrs. Young of? He won't deprive her of serving the amazing noodles to the other people. What did Jason deprive Mrs. Young's customers of? He deprived her customers of enjoying the delicious Chinese noodles. Did Mrs. Young sell her restaurant to Marcus? No, she didn't. She sold it to Jason. What did Marcus want to help Ms. Young do? He wanted to help her build a unique Asian cuisine restaurant. What does Marcus want to help? Why does Marcus want to help Mrs. Young? Because he appreciates her wonderful Chinese noodles. What offer did Marcus make to Mrs. Young? He said to her, "Would you like to be the head chef?"
Hey, hold on a second. Hold on. But what about me? I bought this restaurant. You told me to buy the restaurant. I bought the restaurant. I said the deal. So, what about me? I'm going to be running this place.
No, Jason, you're not going to be running the place. But there is a job for you. A great job. As the janitor.
The janitor?
And listen, maybe at least you'll learn to respect an honest day's work and respect the work of other people and their culture. And if I find any dirt anywhere, on the floor, in the kitchen, or any cockroaches in the food, then you know what? Consider yourself not my son anymore, and you can forget about your inheritance. So, miss, would you like to take a look around your new workplace?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Great.
Thanks.
After you.
Okay, last set of questions. What does Jason really want to do with the restaurant? He really wants to run the place. He wants to be the boss. What position does Marcus force Jason to take? He forces him to be janitor. What does Marcus want his son to respect? He wants Jason to respect the work of other people and their culture. If Marcus finds any dirt in the place, what consequences will Jason face? He will be disowned. His father won't leave him the inheritance. How did Marcus threaten his son? He said to Jason, "If I find any dirt anywhere, consider yourself not my son anymore, and you can forget about your inheritance." Does Jason deserve this? Absolutely, yes, he does. He deserves to be punished like that. Wow, you made it. Did you win? We'll see you next week.